Welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, welcome, and let's make some creamy stuffed salmon. Now to start off, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get all our powdered seasons together for our salmon, and I'm using some chili powder. Also, I didn't measure the seasons that I use, but it's about a tablespoon of each. So I'm using chili powder, I'm using some Italian season, some onion powder, some garlic powder, some Cajun seasoning, some Scotch bonnet powder, and some Maggi fish seasoning. Now I'm just mixing it all together, and as soon as we're done, we're gonna go ahead and get straight to seasoning our salmon. Now off camera, I did remove the skin of my salmon, and I did put a little slice in the thickest side of the salmon, and I also washed it using some lemon juice and fresh water. So now we're just gonna go ahead and coat it in our seasoning. And you want to make sure that you get all the sides. You want to make sure your salmon is well seasoned. Alright, and you will see me open the middle where I made the slices for the stuffing, and I will just go ahead and put a little bit of seasoning in there also. Now that our salmon is seasoned, we're just gonna go ahead and set it aside, and then we're gonna get straight into making our stuffing. Now we're starting with about a tablespoon of butter, and we're melting that over medium heat. Then we're gonna go ahead with some chopped onions. We're also throwing in some minced garlic. And we're just gonna toss this around in the pan, and we're gonna allow this to saute for about 30 seconds to a minute. Now that we have our onions and garlic sauteed, we're just gonna go in with some half and half, and I'm using about a half a cup, and I'm seasoning that with some black pepper, a half teaspoon of salt, some Italian seasoning, and some Cajun seasoning. And we're just gonna go ahead and mix that all together, and then we're just going to allow this to come together over medium heat. And we had that cooking for about 5 minutes or so. And now that this has come to a boil and it's beginning to thicken up, what we're gonna do is we're gonna add in our spinach. Alright, now we're just gonna toss this around in the pan. Make sure that the spinach is well coated in the sauce and allow this to just come down. Allow the spinach leaves to shrink down, because you know when spinach shrinks, it shrinks. And there you have it. It's all coming down, so we're just going to allow this to thicken up a little bit more for another 5 minutes or so. And again, we're keeping this over medium heat. Alright, and we're adding a little bit of Maggi All-purpose seasoning just to add that extra flavor. And we're just going to mix that all together. And I truly wish you guys could smell this. This smells so good. Honestly, I don't even like spinach, but this was really good. And as you can see, when it's fully thickened up and done, I'm gonna turn the heat off. Then I'm gonna add some jumbo shrimps that I minced up. I'm just gonna add it in there and leave it over the hot stove, but we're gonna turn the heat off because we don't want the shrimps to be overcooked when we're done with the salmon. So now we're just gonna go ahead and spray some butter spray in our baking sheet. We're gonna go ahead with our salmon, and what we're gonna do now is stuff them up and straight into the oven. Now my oven is preheated to 350 degrees, and we're gonna allow this to bake for about 15 to 20 minutes. Then we're gonna broil for that extra color for about 5 minutes. And I forgot to mention earlier, but when you're making those slices in your salmon, you want to make sure it's deep enough to hold the stuffing, but it's not so deep that as soon as you put some stuffing in there, it's gonna come through the other side. So you want to be careful when you're doing that. And now we bake in the oven. And now we plate it. This is what the final dish is looking like, guys, and I wish you guys could taste this. It was so good. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe.